All right. Sorry, that was a little loud. Let me put this volume down. My goodness. Take that gain down a little bit. Welcome everybody to another edition of the Jtrain Fitness Show. Happy to have all of you here. It looks like we already have some people in the chat. Thank you for joining me, Mr. Doggy. One of my favorite viewers. I really appreciate you being here tonight. Brian Ripley. Thank you for joining. You're new. Welcome to my channel. Give me a follow if you haven't already. I think I put the notifications up. I haven't tested them tonight, so if you follow and I don't know, I'm sorry, but I will give you a thank you the next time I'm on this stream if I don't see it happening. I am starting right now. I'm sorry. I'm a little late. So tonight I actually have something special for you guys. I will be interviewing a competitive bodybuilder who will be taking your questions. Who I have questions for, and we'll both be answering any kind of questions that you have. So let me go ahead. Let me summon him. Let me put the. That's why this video looks a little different, because it's actually on a Google Hangout. So we're gonna go back and forth between him and myself. So let me see. Let me go ahead and summon him right now. Let's go. Where are you at? He called me. Don't necessarily have his number in my phone right now. Let me get some information. Let me send him a message. Go. All right, he should be joining us shortly. His name is Dustin Overstreet. You can actually follow him if you scroll up on the chat right over here. You'll be able to get his information, his YouTube channel, his Instagram, and all of that. So, let's see. Let me put this on. Dustin.
How's it going?
What's up, man? Hey, you are live on the internet right now. Let me go ahead and switch back to me real quick. Let me get some headphones on so I can hear you a little better. Let me see. Can you hear me all right, Dustin?
Yeah, I can hear you. Thank you for having me in.
Yeah, no problem, dude. So we have a chat on this stream, Dustin. And I have questions for you that people have asked, but it's also a live stream, so I might have some like new questions as it comes, so it's a little exciting that way. So let me go ahead and answer some of the questions that I have right now. Brian Ripley asks, how do I get my muscles big? Well, that's a pretty in-depth question. Pretty much what I would recommend, and Dustin, I'll leave it up to you as well to help me answer this question. The way that I get muscles big, it's a long process. That's number one. It's not something where, like, hey, I want to buy an Xbox. Let me just save up for a couple weeks and I'm going to buy an Xbox. It takes time. It's like growing crops almost, maybe even longer than that. You fatigue your muscles to the point where you're not you can't even move them the next day. And you eat lots of protein. I would recommend eating your body weight in protein, and you gotta get a lot of sleep, and you gotta be consistent. Consistency is the mother of success, and that's how you'll be successful in this. How would you, if someone came up to you, Dustin, and just said, "Hey, how do I gain muscle?" What would you tell them?
So I'm assuming Brian is having trouble, gaining muscle, and one of the things that have always kind of made me plateau was I always did the same routine. Your body's a machine, they say. If your body knows exactly what muscle group you're going to do each day. I'm going to do chest Monday. Your body knows it, what your food you're eating, you need to switch it up. So for me, I'm always at a caloric surplus. So I'm always eating more than what my daily needs are. So I'm always gaining weight up until competition season when I need to cut. But when I'm eating a lot, I'm able to lift more weight. The more weight I lift, the more, full my muscles get and the bigger I get,
Right, absolutely. So I hope that answers your question, Brian. Thanks for the question. We can't see Dustin. I think I just solved that. I'm sorry about that. I think I cut off the top of your head, Dustin, but it's fixed now.
You want me to fix the webcam?
No. Your webcam is perfect. It was a me issue. I use a streaming software that kind of cut it off. We got William Mage in the house. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Caitlin, for you are as mean as always with your questions. So, Doggy, you said you had a lot of questions. Go ahead and put them down there. I'm gonna ask Dustin some questions about right now, and as I see your questions, we might, pause in between questions and go ahead and answer your questions, Doggy. But you say you're going to the gym in a little bit. I hope you crush it. I hope you destroy it. That you become, the people look at you and be like, that guy. I want to be like that guy. All right, Dustin, are you ready for the interview?
Do it.
All right, all right, cool, awesome. We got Dustin Overstreet, a good friend of mine from the Golds of Manassas. If you're anywhere in the Northern Virginia area, I will highly recommend going to Golds of Manassas. I actually, if you are within if you have a gym on the way to Golds of Manassas, I would go there. This place is 2 stories. It's got 2 of everything. The staff is great. You can lift pretty much anything you want to lift, however you want to lift it. I love this gym. It's great. Yeah, no problem. Dustin's kind of like the guy there who, makes it run and makes it one of the best gyms. I think maybe the best gym in Northern Virginia, but I'm kind of biased about that. You can follow Dustin. He's got an Instagram. I'm just gonna scroll up a little bit, and you can see it on my stream. You can follow him on D-Boy Fitness. He's also got a YouTube channel he's gonna try to build. You can follow this link right here. If you forget this link, you can always go back and review this stream on my YouTube channel, or just type in D-Boy Fitness, and I think he's on the 2nd page. So, Dustin, I really wanted to interview you because every time I see you in the gym, you look like someone just told you that you look like you want to just destroy the world and eat it whole. It looks like you always have like some sort of it always looks like you have some sort of yeah, dude, and it always looks like you're breaking a record every time you lift. So I went to the Starbucks right after the lift today, and after talking to you, and I just randomly asked the barista, the girl, the cashier there. I said, if you had a question to ask a competitive bodybuilder, so I'm sorry, Dustin is a competitive bodybuilder. He competes, for shows, and I thought it'd be cool for this show to ask, someone who has had that experience to answer some of your questions. So I asked this girl, and she said the one thing she wanted to ask, and I think it'd be a good question to start off with, how did you get started, and what keeps you going? Because it's not something that necessarily feels good. It's not something that like you go and you really necessarily look forward to. I mean, you like the results from it, but how did you get started in this? What made you want to compete, and what keeps you going?
Well, I got started in weightlifting by powerlifting. That was always my first love, and when it came to weights, seeing all my lifts get bigger, deadlift, bench, squat, it was great, but I wasn't dieting, so I naturally got bigger. My stomach got bigger. I got 250 pounds in my first 2 years of lifting, and I started at 160. So within 2 years, I bumped up 90 pounds. It's not muscle. I gained a lot of fat in the process, but I didn't like how I looked. And I really got into watching a lot of the old school bodybuilders, Arnold, all those guys. And I loved the physique on those guys. So I always wanted that. So and then I got into the new school bodybuilding, the Phil Heath, the Kai Green, and I'm a huge fan. So I admired everything I did off of my idols, these guys. So I wanted to compete. I have a lot of my members, not a lot of members, 2% of my members who actually compete. And you know what? They've inspired me to go and give it a shot. And it's something I thought about for a long time. And I really want to step on stage. I really thought I had what it took. And after 16 weeks of dieting, lost 65 pounds.
Jeez, wow.
Started at 240. I stepped on stage at 172 for my morning show. Carved up was 176 for the night show.
Wow, and if you guys want to see the pictures of Dustin, what he looked like, man, like I'll tell you, because I've seen this guy for a long time. It looks like there's literally like no fat on his body. He's not carrying any water. Follow his Instagram, and you can see those pictures. They're fantastic. I actually got a question from somebody else that kind of leads nicely into what you were saying, and that is, would you recommend powerlifting techniques to improve your physique? If you were trying, I guess maybe go for aesthetics. I guess that's what that question is.
I recommend it if you were following the correct diet, which I did not. I was the guy eating Oreos in after my lifts. But you know what? If you follow a steady diet, you know what? You can make a lot of gains off of powerlifting, and the powerlifters swear by it. They don't diet correctly. They'll eat Big Macs after they work out, like it's their job. So, that's not what I want to do. I actually enjoy getting up every morning, cooking my food, and taking it to work. I don't like going out to McDonald's. I don't like going out to those fast food places to eat because I feel like crap afterwards. So
right.
I can't do it anymore. I've since I got into bodybuilding, I've watched everything I eat to a certain extent.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think I would definitely recommend, powerlifting techniques if you want to, put on size. A lot of those powerlifting moves are kind of based for like competitions in terms of like, lifting, pushing maxes. Again, like what I said in our last show, it kind of depends on like what you're looking for. So it looks like we got, some questions. What's up, Male Prostitute? Thank you for coming back into our into my stream, supporting me. I appreciate it. Let's see. Let me go down. A friend of mine, Awkward Slendy, Caitlin, says, oftentimes before and while at the gym, I feel really fatigued. Any suggestions on how to fix that? What would you say, Dustin?
Assuming she's not following, a steady diet plan. I was the same way as far as I was eating breakfast, lunch, dinner. That was it. 3 meals a day, right?
Right.
But I learned that your metabolism has a huge part of, giving you energy. I eat every 3 hours now. I have 3 big meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then I have snacks in between it. So my body's always constantly burning through something, and I always have carbs in me. So I don't know how many, carbs she's taking in. She's taking a pre-workout, fat burner, anything of the sort, which I do recommend taking to give you a little bit of a boost. But if you're not, I would hop on that now to start trying that out before you're working out.
Absolutely. And just kind of touching on what Dustin said, if you're going into the gym and you eat like you would in like normal reality, and you push yourself, the amount of, because a lot of people, as much as they love food, don't really eat as often with like their schedule and everything. And if you're going to the gym and you go to like crush it, and you go to if you go into the gym and you go to crush your workout, and you're expending all of that energy, especially if you're doing a huge muscle group like legs, you're gonna get fatigued, and especially if you're not used to lifting, it's going to definitely affect your energy. I would definitely recommend sleep as well. Sleep is the most underrated supplement. I've always said that, and that's something you need to look out for.
Definitely helps.
Sleep, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But thanks for the question, Caitlin. I appreciate you joining in. If you guys, just keep asking questions, and we will get to them. I promise. All right, Dustin. So I think I got another question for you. Scroll up. There's a ton of them. Is there a certain character, TV, movie, video game that inspires you to bodybuild, that you looked at as a kid, maybe, that you saw? I mean, I know that you referenced Arnold, that you referenced Pumping Iron. I actually remember you putting Pumping Iron on loop in the gym, and every
day I put that in there. And the members always came up to me, and they were like, "Why do you play Pumping Iron all the time?" And these are people who just walk upstairs. They just skim through the freeway area. They don't get it. How it inspired me and inspired you and all the other members we have in the free weights.
Right.
But we don't have it anymore. And people got bored of it. But
yeah, well, that's when I knew it was the gym for me. That's when I knew. I was like, okay, this guy gets it. But yeah, was there any kind of TV character, any kind of movie character that kind of made you go like, whoa,
Definitely the Hulk. Actually, my dog.
Surprise.
My dog's name is the Hulk. Hulk. Low golden retriever puppy I got. So, definitely Hulk. Lou Ferrigno, huge fan. I've just always admired, David Banner just unleashing the rage and turning to the Hulk, and just that big guy. I don't think there's any bodybuilder that's not really intrigued, or anybody in the gym that's not intrigued with the Hulk. So
Right, absolutely. I mean, it kind of goes together. That's a pretty good response.
yeah, that one's
Uh,
easy.
yeah, right. Okay, so let's see. So, we'll get into I guess now we can kind of get into your competition. I have a question for you. What made you want to compete? What inspired you to compete? And what was it about competition that got you into it? And what kind of advice would you give somebody who's contemplating it? I mean, is there any advice that would you tell somebody no? Would you always tell somebody go for it? That.
I think what really got me into that was the people around me, because my friends all started competing. Years went by and I didn't pull the trigger. I tried, failed, and half of it is the people in my life. I diet for a couple weeks and then, hey, Dustin, let's go out to the bar. Come on. And you know what? This last prep, I can honestly say for the 16 weeks I dieted, unless my coach told me to go out and go get a cheat meal, I didn't cheat. I didn't go out drinking. I stayed inside. I cooked all day, slept all no, slept all night, didn't do anything. And I'm really proud of that, because for years I could not do that. So once I finally pulled the trigger and I set my eyes to the competing, it was all kind of smooth sailing from there. Now it wasn't all happy shiny roses. The last 4 weeks were definitely the hardest for me and the people around me.
Right.
Low carb, you're close, you're drying out. It's one of the most hardest things I've ever had to do, but the most rewarding. So if somebody's going to step on stage, I want to inspire everybody to step on stage. If they're not ready, whatever. It's such a huge, eye-opening experience. It teaches you so much. I left that stage, second place. I didn't get first, but I left away the happiest man because I accomplished what I set out to do. And, I learned so much from that experience.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, Brian Ripley, I am getting to your question, I promise. So Brian Ripley has a question. How do I flex my butt? You know what? I don't think that's a bad question. And Dark Archer, hey, welcome to the chat. I actually know who you are. I appreciate you coming into the chat. You should definitely ask Dustin questions, even though I know you can ask him in person.
You say that was Dark Archer?
Yeah, Dark Archer's in the chat. You want to say what's up?
Oh God.
He's watching you, Dustin. He's judging you.
Oh God, he's gonna. This is where the interview turns sour.
Don't worry. It won't throw you off because I'm the only one who can see these questions right now. But
it's all good.
Brian Ripley is a body. Do you know Brian Ripley by chance, Dustin? Anybody named Brian Ripley?
It sounds so familiar. He might go.
Okay.
I usually know all the members too, so this is bad.
Yeah, apparently they're a bodybuilder. It could be anybody. I mean,
come say hi to me, Brian. I need to meet you.
Yeah, Brian, are you in Virginia? You can go ahead and tell me in the chat. But how do you flex your butt? I don't necessarily focus that.
That is a great question.
No, I think it is too. I think you can give a better response, but I'll just kind of give my response, and you can tell me if it's right or wrong. I would kind of flex it. I guess if I'm doing it on stage, I've never competed, so this could be completely wrong, and you and Dark Archer might yell at me. But I would kind of flex it like I would my back, because the back kind of goes kind of flexes everything inward. And I guess what you would kind of do the same way is I guess you would flex your cheeks kind of inward, almost conscientiously kind of do that inward and kind of squeeze it a little bit, and then I guess kind of gyrate forward a little bit. Yeah. Oh, Brian Ripley is in West Virginia. Thank you for holding it down in West Virginia, man. We got West Virginia in the house. It's not just Virginia. It's not just Virginia tonight. So, what would you tell Brian Ripley to do to flex their butt? And thank you for donating. If you do donate, Brian, if you're watching the stream and you would like to donate, if you like the content that I'm generating, right underneath this stream, there's a donate button, and it should pop up. I should see it happen. If I don't, I'm sorry, but I will definitely thank you the next time I stream if I missed it. So, Dustin, how would you flex your butt?
Great question, because I really wish during my prep I focused more on my glutes. I had the upper body. My legs kind of overpowered my upper body because I have huge legs. But I didn't work on my glutes as much as I should have. And when you're doing your exercises, your squats, your stiff leg deadlifts, even on the Stairmaster, you kind of like squeeze in, like you said, inward. You know, you kind of put a lot of emphasis on your glutes.
Uh-huh.
That way, it kind of, you know, everything tightens up down there. And but like you said, just inward. That's how you stretch it. When you're doing stiff leg deadlift, come up, squeeze, down, squeeze, down. Stairmaster, make sure you hit squeeze. You squeeze every step. But no, that was a great question. I really wish I focused more on my glutes during my competition, and that's what I'm working on the off season. Is glutes.
Is that a part of the body that judges look for?
That would kill you in a competition.
Would it?
That would kill you. Backside is what wins you the competition. You know, you have a back, great. Calves, great. Hamstrings, awesome. You don't have the glutes, you're not going to do well.
Huh. All right. So Brian Ripley followed that up with a question. When he does squats, but I'm trying to get my legs stronger. I guess maybe what he's trying to ask there is, how would you get your legs stronger when you do squats? Like, is it kind of inherent when you do squats that your legs will get stronger? Or is there a certain way you got to think about it when you squat to get stronger legs?
So I kind of had to do a whole switch up of my squat. I kind of got stagnant on 405 for a couple months, so I would switch it up, do front side barbell deadlift, otherwise box squats. So you go all the way down onto the box, hold, go all the way up. But I also separate out my leg days while I was on competition. So I would do quads one day, skip a day, do arms, do back. Next day I would do hamstrings. So I would always kind of give one muscle group an extra day rest before I hit the next one. Because I really wanted to get big legs. So that kind of worked well for me during competition season.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. Good questions, everyone. Keep the questions coming. Brian Ripley goes to Gold's Gym, part of the Gold's Gym Army. That's right. That's awesome. So let's see. So another person asked me. They said, do you have a supplement regimen? What are the timings? And I guess I can follow that up with what are your eating habits like? What do you think are good fat burning foods? So supplement regimen, your timing with that, your eating habits, and what do you think are good fat burning foods?
Yeah, I do take a huge supplement schedule. Every morning I start with an animal pack, which you may have heard of. They've been around for a while.
Absolutely, yeah.
A little pack full of multivitamins. I do one in the morning, one at night. I always follow it up with arginine. I usually have about 1,000 milligrams in the morning, 2,000 milligrams in the afternoon, and then another 1,000 at night. During the day, I have CLA, which will help you burn fats. Omega-3s. I do take a fat burner during contest season. I'm not taking one now. Usually I get my fat burner from my coffee to kind of help boost up my metabolism. But those are my supplements. My eating regimen, eating every 3 hours. Closer to contest season, I had to buckle down and suck it up. And out of 5 of my 6 meals, I had tilapia, which is the worst thing ever.
Oh yeah. I mean, like a lot of it.
Because, I cook a lot, so I'm not allowed to add seasoning. I'm not allowed to add anything. So it's just plain old baked in the oven tilapia.
So you actually, go ahead.
Sorry. If you're eating 8 ounces per meal, I had about 8 to 6 per meal. For the morning, I would have eggs and 1 packet of grits. Rest of the day is tilapia. And the reason for that is because it's a high protein source with low fat.
Absolutely.
So that's all my meals for the day. And my God, that was the worst. I haven't had seafood since August. Like, sick of it. And I don't plan on eating seafood until I start dieting in January again. But, good fat burning foods, I would say, if you get cinnamon, that would help you. Kind of something that will get your heart rate up. I like hot sauce, kind of help me sweat a little bit. It's not gonna burn fat. You know what? The best thing you can do for burning fat is, getting on a steady diet, doing your cardio, your weightlifting, doing that'll do more benefit to your body than taking a pill, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
A lot of the stuff over the counter is not going to really do what they say. If you read the magazines, you look at before and after pictures, take this fat burner, lose 20 pounds in a week, and look at this guy.
I'd be wary about that.
The best thing you can do is, like you said earlier, get your sleep, stay on a steady diet, and, just be patient. It doesn't happen overnight.
Absolutely. Cool. Awesome. Thank you. So Brian Ripley being very active right now. You might have to rephrase your other question about the couples. I can actually answer that question on this show. I have a public health degree, and I used to work in a health department where I would answer those kind of questions. So if you have any questions on health, I think this question's on sexual health. I can actually answer those kinds of questions. I have had experience working in a health department to answer that. So maybe just kind of try to reformulate your question a little bit, and I can maybe answer that for you. But he has a question that says, I eat a lot of fruits. Is that good? From having a biology degree and from what I've read, and Dustin, you can fact check me on, or you can check me on this from what you've heard from your coach. The fruits that make up the sugars that make up fruits, I think it's fructose. When they get converted into glycogen, they actually go to your liver glycogen. They don't necessarily go into your muscle glycogen. Your muscle glycogen, I think, is more like your starchy carbs. But fruits, while they're low in calories, and I'm not saying don't eat fruits, but I wouldn't make them a staple of your diet if you're trying to, I guess, lean out, look aesthetic, because of the way that the liver doesn't have as many glycogen stores as, say, your muscles. So if you want to eat like a ton of starch and everything, I think you have more of a what's the word I'm looking for? You have more of like a container for that. You can store more than you can for fruits. If you want to, for your carbs, I would definitely recommend starchy carbs. If you're trying to cut down, I would, you might want to not eat as much, and then your fibrous carbs from your vegetables. What about you, Dustin? What did your coach tell you anything? Do you have anything that you can add when it comes to eating fruits and preparing?
I didn't have any fruit during my contest season. I'm on an off-season plan right now. My coach does give me one fruit in the morning, banana.
One fruit. He's like, "This is the one," and you're just like, "Okay."
If I showed you my plan right now, it says one fruit on that motherfucker.
Oh, you need to make a video.
I don't know if I'm allowed to curse or not. Sorry, PG-13.
No, it's yeah.
So I'm doing an orange right now, and once a day. Dark Archer's on here, and I have a good friend of mine named Ben who competes as well, and for the years he's been competing, he always has a grapefruit per meal. He has about I think 4 a day. I could be wrong, but he does. All he did was have grapefruit, and on top of his plans, and I'm not too familiar with the benefits of of course his benefits to fruit, but I'd rather you take, veggies more than your fruit.
Right. I mean, it's
a lot more macronutrients out of veggies than you do out of fruit. In my opinion, less sugars. And then, asparagus is what I did a lot, and that's terrible as well. Asparagus helps you dry out a little bit more. So when I was close to contest season, I had contest time. I had 6 ounces per day of asparagus, and that's kind of what helped me dry out a little bit. So it kind of gave you that less water in my look body, help show off my striations, my veins, all that.
And you had a ton of striations and a ton of veins. I saw your pictures. Follow Dustin on D-Boy Fitness on Instagram, and you can see all these pictures. The guy looked great. I think he placed. You placed, correct?
Yes, I got 5th in my novice and 2nd in my open class.
Which is pretty awesome for somebody who had never competed before. So we got some more questions coming in. Awkward Slendy, thank you, Caitlin, for the question. How important do you think stretching is before and after a workout? Some Someone, okay, her boyfriend said that there is no real correlation with stretching and prevention or strains based on medical studies. Well, oh, sorry, I should probably get to me real quick. Based on medical studies, I can actually tell you, I worked 3 years in a injury prevention epidemiology fellowship with the U.S. Army up in Northern Maryland in the Aberdeen Proving Grounds. And I will say this, before I even got my degree in epidemiology, I would stretch afterwards. And one reason for that is just, it just kind of seemed intuitive to me that, like, I don't want, like, my muscles kind of being loose and being able to contort in a particular angle or direction that might make me susceptible to, I guess, injury. That's important to me. But also my muscles kind of seemed like they were tighter after I worked out, so I would loosen them up at the end by stretching. And I can tell you, I believe from systematic reviews, if anybody wants to fact check me on that and let me know, if you go to PubMed and you look up a systematic review, which you should always do if you're trying to interpret medical research, scientific research, I believe that they will tell you that stretching after a workout is more beneficial for injury prevention. Is there anything that your coach said that you kind of do, that someone's told you, that has kind of worked for you, Dustin?
No, he didn't go over too much in stretching. I need to stretch. I'm terrible. You know what? I don't know much about stretching afterwards, but beforehand, when your muscles are loose, that prevents injury, of course. The more flexible you are, the stronger your muscle is. For me, I have issues with shoulders. So, you know, when I bench, I can only go so far because my shoulders don't have much mobility, you know. If you were to stretch out more, you won't have that problem. Squatting makes everything easier when your legs are more stretched out. You foam roll out, helps out so much. God, it's like tanning to me. It's so boring. So
it's like tanning to me. It's so.
You know, well, when I was dieting, I did. Yeah, I'm gonna bitch for a second, but at 5 o'clock every morning. I did this for 16 weeks. I did 45 minutes of cardio every single day.
Jeez.
Then I had to work out at nighttime, do my weightlifting, and then I had to do another 45 minutes of cardio. That was every day for 16 weeks. And when you're there working at the gym for 9 hours a day, when you're there working out for another 3 hours, the last thing I want to do is spend 20 minutes stretching. And I kind of wish I had the time to do more stretching because, you know, I feel old at the age of 24. And
don't you actually know a yoga instructor?
I know a few.
So
I definitely need to do yoga, but no, you know what? I go to the chiropractor 3 times a week. Dr. Diaz, he's on your channel.
Shout out
Dr. Diaz, hooking your brother up with some chiropractic. But and then I get massages done once a month. But
definitely recommend those.
Yeah, if you got the extra funds for it. So, you know what? I at least do something to, you know, kind of, you know, instead of stretching, I at least do something. You know, I get chiropractic work, I get massages done. But God, if I only had more time to stretch out, I would have been a little bit better on my lifts.
Yeah.
You know what? I need to start doing that. I need to get it on my schedule.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Male Prostitute. Thanks again for being in this channel, man. I love all the support you're giving. Yeah, his name's Male Prostitute. I like it. I like the name, right? It's good. It's creative, especially now that winter is coming. White Walkers in the winter is coming.
Time of year. I get all the New Year's resolutioners.
Oh right, yeah. This is going to be a busy time for you, right?
All my money, and then I just blow it to my car, and then
loading up. All right. So Male Prostitute asks,
ask me financial questions, okay? I'm terrible at that.
If you want to learn how to lose money, ask both of us.
Come to me.
Male Prostitute asks, is it easier for an obese guy to gain mass than it is for a skinny guy? Fantastic question. Here's my take, and then we'll go into Dustin's take. If you want to build a house, and you have great workers, and you have great blueprints, and you don't give it bricks, you can't build a house. Now, when you say, like, you know, an obese person, I think maybe the question is asking, does somebody who has excess energy storage, do they have an easier time gaining mass? It depends. I'm not a biochemist, but I would say that the fat is just kind of it's storing your ATP. You have 3,500 calories, I believe, in 1 gram of fat, something like that. And I don't know if that's just pure energy. I don't know if that's not necessarily amino acids. So the amino acids kind of come together to build proteins and build muscle. Is it easier? Is it better? I would say that for both people, it's probably it might also depend on your metabolism, your body type, because then you get into like ectomorphic, endomorphic, all of that. So genetics might play a role in that. But all things equal, it kind of just you want to keep getting in the right amount of protein, the right amount of supplementation with foods, whole foods, protein, and if both of them are lifting with intensity, I think that it would be about the same. Now, if you are an obese individual, judging by what BMI, whatever you would consider obese, you might not be able to see the gains as readily as you would with somebody who doesn't have as much body fat per se. But yeah, all things being equal, if they're both lifting with intensity, if they're both eating correctly, I would think that they would both kind of see substantial gains as long as they are committed to it. What do you think, Dustin?
So here's the problem with that is, yes, you will gain muscle if that's your main concern. What's going to happen is when you are ready to cut, you're obese and you need to lose 65 pounds, 70 pounds, 100 pounds, you're going to lose muscle. When you're dieting that long a time, it's impossible to keep all your muscle, naturally, of course. But so what's going to happen is you spend all these hours in the gym, you're working out. Now it's time to cut. You're going to lose all you made. And I'm not I'm at fault with this too, because since my competition, I've gained 50 pounds since then. Now that's just me filling up my glycogen storage, and water is getting back in my body that I didn't have for the show, and I've gained muscle and I've gained a little bit of fat. But it's best stay as lean as possible and steadily gain muscle as you go. But I do not recommend, if you're obese, trying to gain muscle right now. Just concentrate on losing your fat, then build.
Okay, so you would actually recommend that if somebody is overweight, obese, that they cut down first. That's what you'd recommend. Okay, and if somebody is, let's say they're like super ectomorph, right? And they're super skinny, super lean. What do you recommend for them?
And then you need to bulk up. Like I said before, eating every 3 hours, eating as much as possible is going to help you. As long as you're following a steady diet, getting your water in. All those are important factors in gaining weight. Constantly keep track of what you're doing in the gym, the weight you're lifting, and constantly progress. Lift more each time, and that's what I would recommend. It's very important for somebody who's skinny, and I was there years ago, 160, and I would just eat and just gain as much as possible. And my lifts kind of increases with that as well. So it was nice.
Excellent, cool, awesome. Let's see. So I think I have that's kind of all the questions in the chat. You guys can keep asking questions. I love these questions. If anybody from Gold's Gym Manassas is in the house, other than the people we already know, say what's up. Say what's up when you see us tomorrow as well. Let's see. Getting back to so yeah, kind of what I'm seeing in the chat as well. Now you said that you got a coach. How much would you recommend getting a coach? I remember when I was in Maryland, this girl was telling me, it's like, yeah, you need a coach. Like it's like you need one. If you're gonna compete, you're gonna get a coach. And what you did to get a coach, how you got a coach, why you got a coach, what to look for in a coach, all of that. What would you say?
So last year, when I was planning on competing, my first show, I had a great friend of mine, Steven, who works at the Max Muscle next to us. He wanted to help. He did all my work for free. He really worked hard for me, but the issue was it was free. And I mean that because I wasn't paying anything. So I was like, you know what? What's a couple of beers here gonna do? A cheap meal here or there. What's that gonna do? So I wasn't committed as much as I thought I was gonna be. And you know what? I didn't really I kind of underestimated the how hard it was to diet that low. Especially when you have zero energy, you're working 9 hours a day. I totally underestimated it. The following year, I looked at a lot of coaches, found one in my area who's been competing for years. And by far, I'm so thankful I have him. Coach Simpson is my coach. And I train with him as much as I can. He lives in Fairfax, like 10 miles away from where I live.
Did you want to maybe give him a plug, like where people can find him?
He'll never see this, but he's on my Instagram. If you go on there, you look up hashtag Team Simpson Athletes. I'm on there. But you know what? He did my training. He did my diet. He did my supplementation. So I was committed because I spent, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars on this guy for the show, you know. So I'm like, you know what? I'll put in the work. Worked my ass off. I did all my cooking. I did all my meals. Never missed a meal. What really helped was he always checked up on me, and I would always get text.
That is important. That's important.
If I don't get a text, if he texted me, I have like 10 minutes to respond to him. Otherwise, he knows I'm asleep. Every single cardio session, I take a picture, send it to him, so he knows I'm truly doing it. Always checking on me. Did I get my meals in? Did I drink enough water? How am I feeling? So it was nice to not go through this whole process alone. And I kind of owe all my success for that competition to him. He's also doing my off-season diet, which I'm still following to a certain extent. My issue is I tell everybody my love for pumpkin spice. So
dude, I think you have a I at least the first step is admitting you have a problem. You love the F out of pumpkin spice, sir. You love that.
I'm so big.
Oh man, we got Dark Archer back in the chat.
I'm just waiting for
you ready? Oh man, I love it. I'm so glad he's here. He said Dark Archer, who I would definitely recommend anyone getting fitness advice from. Go ahead and put your Instagram in there, Dark Archer. I'll give you a shout out. I believe it's Dark Archer on Instagram. But he says bulking up is a bad term. You want to steadily gain muscle and not gain fat, which is actually, I think, a really smart thing to say, because when someone says bulking up, I think that what they think of is they think of like, you know, all right, time to go to war on the Oreo section in my local, you know, Giant or something like that, right? So yeah, definitely.
Who goes to our gym? He's been competing for years, and you know what? He is one of the most knowledgeable guys I know. I listen as much as I can to him. I'm kind of a hard head to begin with, but you know, he's supportive with me, and he gives me as much help as possible. He doesn't coach me, but you know, I truly value your help with me. So
awesome. Yeah, he says he also says you don't need a coach. I guess you don't when you look like him. But Dark Archer, he's like, yeah, he says you don't need a coach, and I guess not if you look like Dark Archer, right?
If you look like Dark Archer, you don't need it. The way that guy will train, he probably eat Chipotle every day. He probably have a couple pizzas here and there. He'll still lose weight and come in like he'll win a show.
Yeah, right.
He's got crazy genetics if you ever see him.
Absolutely. I think it maybe, you know, just depends on like, you know, how disciplined you think you can be. I guess is kind of like what we're getting at. I mean,
he told me stories. He worked out with Lee Haney, best.
What? Really?
What?
Eight Olympias, right? Is what Lee Haney got.
Got the record. So you know what? He's been around the block. He knows his stuff. So. Oh
man. Okay, so Big Will, Mr. Willpower.
I know Will.
Yeah, dude, Will's the man. The best, the best young up and coming.
I wish What is he? 14?
He's 14 years old, dude. He's 14.
You know what? I started when I was 19. 19 is when I really started like working out. 20 is when I really started getting into bodybuilding.
I started at 22. I went from like the kid who played like Magic the Gathering in high school and like didn't play any sports, to just one day just going like 3 times a week at George Mason at night to where people like couldn't see me. So I've only been at this, for I started at 22, and everyone's starting like in high school and college and stuff like that. So if anyone is watching this and you think you're too old to ever start bodybuilding, absolutely not.
In my show, you have a master's class. So these are guys over 40. At the age of 40, they look amazing. Talking to them, they started when they were in the 30s. You know what? And there's I've seen videos on YouTube. These 80-year-olds who look incredible. They got a late start in the game. So you're right. It's never too late. And you know what? This, besides getting into bodybuilding, this is also for your health. So you never want to push your health off for because of your age.
Right, absolutely. And Will is asking us. He says, how do you get rid of the jitters when crashing on pre-workout? Well, Will, if you're crashing on pre-workout, you might be taking too much pre-workout, right? I mean, you were telling Dustin. He was telling me he took like something like 3 scoops of like pre-workout, like the GNC whatever pre-workout that you would get there, which is probably loaded with caffeine, and like 1 scoop. I know that like friggin' BCAA amino energy, I don't know if I haven't checked it, but the guy like looked at it, he's like, oh, it's like taking like 2 cups of like coffee or something like that. So if Will at like 14 is like snorting pre-workout, that might be why you're crashing, bud. You might want to like kind of lessen it. Anything you'd like to say about that, Dustin?
I would lessen it. God, I'm just so used to pre-workouts. When I was younger, stupid, I would have Monsters every day, the energy drinks, coffee all the time. So I'm used to all that caffeine and energy. So I go to the gym with a cup of coffee, and then I always go with a pre-workout. And I'm fine because I'm used to it. My body is taken in. It knows what's going on. But, Will, I do not recommend you doing that because you will fuck something up.
He's telling me 4 scoops. You're out of control, Will.
Yeah, Will.
Calm the F down, bro. You need to calm down. The intensity that you take when you lift this weight is not the same intensity that you should be taking with your supplements, sir. Okay?
Your heart is hating you for taking fucking 4 scoops of pre-workout.
His heart wants to take a vacation.
There has to be a black label on that thing saying do not exceed 2 scoops, and you have totally just doubled that.
They're gonna start putting a picture of Will on there with like that big like X through it.
Yeah, this is what's gonna happen if you take 4 scoops.
Yeah, you're gonna wake up in front of a bench press with saliva all over you, wondering how you got there.
I've done that actually. Funny story.
I should probably I want to ask you that story, dude. You should make a video of that story. When you start bringing your YouTube channel up to speed, like you should definitely post videos about all this, stories, all that stuff. You're definitely an interesting guy who I think a lot of people would follow. We got George Killian in the house. You know who that is, Dustin? George?
Yeah, he's in our gym too. Another youngin.
Yeah, dude. Looks like everyone wanted to come see you today, man. George is saying, does bodybuilding stunt growth if you start working out too young? That's what I've always heard. I can't speak to that. Hold on, I'm sorry.
You might know that better than me. I'm not short, but I'm not tall. So I haven't grown in a couple of years. Maybe it's bodybuilding.
Right, and I'm like 5'8.5", and that's probably because I'm a quarter Vietnamese. I remember I went to the doctor, and I'm like, hey, you think I'm gonna grow any more? And they're like, hey, let's take a look at your chart, and it went like this. It looked like a plateau, right? And I was like, oh, darn it. Oh well, I guess I should probably grow outwards. So I took a body. No, I'm just kidding. But what I would recommend, George, I don't think either of us can speak on that. Maybe Dark Archer can give his sage wisdom in the chat. I would recommend going to PubMed. Going to any kind of place where you can pull up a systematic review. And what a systematic review, you're going to hear me talk about that a lot on this channel. A systematic review is a compilation. These scientists go together and they take a whole bunch of research and they put it into one research packet. So they'll say like, okay, these 5 studies indicated this, that, this, that. I think when I got certified as a personal trainer, they cited that there was no significant difference. I'd have to take a look at those p-values and everything, but Definitely look up systematic review, lifting weights, stunting growth, and just kind of see what it says. And if you find out what it says and you kind of come to a conclusion, let me see that research, and then I'll maybe talk about it on this show. We got Devin in the house. Devin, if this is the Devin that I know, man, how have you been? I just want to let you know I will crush you in NBA 2K16. Don't buy that game because then you're going to want to challenge me, and if you challenge me, it's it's not going to be good, man. I'm going to destroy you. Just want to let you know. You're good at basketball in real life, man, but like you can't touch me on the sticks. I'm just letting you know that. Sorry, Dustin. I'm kind of getting on a tangent there.
No, if Devin wants to play me in basketball, I'm pretty good. I have people who owe me money still, so that tells you something, right? Those are me money from back in the day.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Dark Archer says, "Do you really think you need pre-workout?" I don't specifically think that you need pre-workout. I think that if you get a great night's sleep, sleep is the best supplement you can give your body. It's when you grow. It's when your body starts putting everything together. It's when you, I can tell you something. If you try this, try to get 10 hours of sleep Saturday and Sunday and then go to bed at like 2 and wake up at 4. You'll have a lot more energy than if you do that on a Wednesday, right? After doing that throughout the week. Is someone who wakes up at 4:30 in the morning to go to his job at Bethesda. I can go to bed like tonight. I gotta wake up tomorrow at like 4:30 a.m. But I'm gonna have a lot of energy because I had a 3-day weekend, right? I will have all that energy accrued. Your body's like a bank account, and the sleep is the best supplement you can give. Now, do you need pre-workout? Absolutely not. It's, you know, your focus, your rest gets in there. Maybe you take some like caffeine. I wouldn't recommend taking over-the-counter supplements for energy, because a lot of that stuff is just made of ingredients that you can find. Yeah, go ahead, Dustin. I'm sorry.
No, a lot of it's full of garbage. I kind of, in my own way, think pre-workout's the most overrated supplement you can get. It gives you energy, sure, but a lot of things will give you energy. Eating will give you energy. For me, recovery is probably the most underrated. Getting your BCAAs, your glutamine, all those recovery supplements will help you feel better in the gym the next day, help you recover, help you grow. To me, those are more important than a pre-workout.
Absolutely.
If you're spending money on it, if you get it and you have it, then use it. I mean, I just have a bunch laying downstairs when I go to the Arnold every year, but I don't buy pre-workout that much.
Maybe yeah, absolutely. I mean, my aminos, I drink aminos sometimes at work just because I want to not eat something. So I just want something to kind of sip on, and it just happens to have, amino energy in there. I'll also take maybe some black coffee or espresso, depending on my energy, to the gym. NS Rawberry, thank you so much for joining back up on my stream. I really appreciate your support, bud. Any word on whether or not keto diets work? Pros and cons. I can tell you a pro is that I think it works to some extent. The con is that I've never done it for a long enough amount of time to reap the rewards, because you feel like crap. I can tell you, I shot a video with Dustin at the gym one time, and the dude looked like he had no energy because he was just bringing down his carbs. Like, he looked like he wanted to just kill anyone within like a 5 meter radius of himself, because his carbs were just so low. Here's how Dark Archer, you can tell me if this is right or wrong or whatever, but when your body when you're trying to burn fat, I think your body releases ketones. From somebody with a bio degree, that's kind of what I've heard, and one way you can kind of tell if your body's doing that. I personally, and this is what I've heard on forums, so it's not necessarily scientifically proven, but you feel like a sweet taste in your mouth when you're kind of low on carbs and you're high on ketones. And ketones go after your fat. I've never been on a ketogenic diet long enough to see if it works. Again, look at a systematic review. But the thing about even that, I can tell you, is someone who does research, dietary studies are awful, because you can't really keep anybody constant because diets are so volatile. So any word on if keto diets work? Pros and cons. Pros, I think that you probably have some effect, and if you did it for a long enough amount of time, I think you'd probably see something. Cons, your energy is just completely shot. You don't have the carbs. And Dustin, I'd love to hear your story with bringing down your carbs and how that made you feel, and what you do to recommend to people. What your thoughts are on ketogenic diets, real quick, but also, dude, you were just running on fumes, and what did you do to get through that? Did it work? All that. So go ahead and answer that for me if you don't mind.
Definitely worked. I was in the best shape of my life. Um, I was definitely running on fumes. Not allowed to have pre-workout. I was not allowed to have anything with salt, anything with I wasn't allowed to have much. And my
Wow.
carbs, I'm only having, if I'm lucky, 100 grams a day. This is when it's close to contest. So, when you're going through the day with 100 grams of carbs, like you said, you want to kill the world. Um, I am honestly surprised that people around me honestly still like me, because I was a giant asshole. No, seriously, like when I'm at work, I had to hide in my office just because I just couldn't do it. And you know what? I thought about quitting a couple of times because I'm like, it's not worth affecting my job. But I I tried my best, and everybody else got it. So when I finished it, I was a lot happier of a man with all those carbs in me. But you know what? Carbs make you do some crazy things. When you're out of carbs and you're feeling like shit, you don't feel like yourself, And yeah, that I don't know much about the ketone diet, but yeah, God, I did not miss that those last 4 weeks of my contest prep at all.
Yeah, right. All right, so it is 10:26 right now. I usually like to keep these going for an hour. It doesn't even feel like it's been an hour. I've had an incredible discussion with you, and I love I love what people have been doing in the chat. Right, yeah, right over there. This show looks like it's very popular, and I really appreciate everyone's support. Dark Archer giving us more wisdom. He's saying, you want to be careful with a ketogenic diet because it'll start eating muscles, a fuel source, because I guess you won't have your reserve ATP, you won't have your glycogen, you won't have anything like that to kind of keep yourself going. It's not a smart way to lose fat, is what he says. Slow and steady fat loss is best, about a pound and a pound a week max. Yeah, that's what I've heard from a lot of credible bodybuilders, a lot of people whose knowledge you can kind of accept. So yeah, definitely. I mean, I definitely definitely listen to that advice. So I won't take any more questions from the chat because I'm going to ask Dustin a few more questions before we head on out. Looks like Dark Archer and Caitlin are leaving the chat. Thank you for joining. Join us every Monday. I'd definitely love to interview Dark Archer sometime. I think that'd be a great thing to do.
That'd be an
Yeah,
awesome show.
I think that'd be a great show, right? And then yeah, George is talking about the pickup game with me and Devin. Dude, all I know is that I have 2K16 on my PC right now, and Devin hasn't challenged me. I think we know why. But before we get out, let me see if I can kind of go through a lightning round with you, Dustin. Let me try to pick out some of these questions. Here's one that a lot of people have asked me, in terms like, bodybuilding. What are your thoughts on steroids? Why do you think people use them? Does it ever cross your mind? Is the temptation of using PEDs as prominent as people say it is in bodybuilding? If so, how can someone rise above the desire to stay natural? Does that kind of give you a good question to answer? I think I wanted to ask you this question because you've competed, you've seen people around you who you're competing against, you're in this world. What are your thoughts on it? What are your thoughts on if someone wants to stay natural? I don't want anybody to think on this channel that I think that Mr. Olympia who takes steroids and stuff like that is doing it the wrong way or anything like that. But as someone, because I know that you competed natural, what are your thoughts on steroids? Has it ever crossed your mind? Is it as prominent in the game as you think it is? And if you wanted to stay natural, and I'm guessing you want to keep competing natural, what makes you want to just stay there as opposed to I guess go towards Mr. Olympia or something like that, if that makes sense?
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely crossed my mind. I've idolized these guys. I want to be as big as them, and I know I can't get to that level without steroids. I've looked at all the health risks, and just what, man, it's not worth it. With what steroids can do to your body, it's not worth dying in my mid 40s. I did a natural show. I was polygraphed. You get drug tested. You have to be 7 years drug free. They polygraph you on it. What I didn't realize getting into a natural show, which I didn't want to do, going in, I want to do a non-tested show. I was still natural. I just didn't want to go through the hassle of going through the polygraph. You know, when you hear the word polygraph, you get kind of nervous anyways. And that was my thought.
Yeah, right.
But I didn't realize how big the natural bodybuilding community is. You know, it's a huge community. They're all together as one. You know, and I've met a lot of good friends who's been competing for years in natural bodybuilding. And you can turn pro in natural bodybuilding. They have the pro levels. You're not going to win as much money as you were in like the NPC, and nothing's tested. I did the NGA. There's the what is it? IPA, INFBA, the OCE. Those are all natural shows you can do, and they have dozens each year in our area, the Northern Virginia area. For me, I'm not probably going to go down the route of steroids. It's just not worth me dying in my mid-40s to do it. Definitely crossed my mind. Of course, there's always temptation of, you know, I really want to look like that, but is it worth it?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not telling anybody, you know, go out, don't do what you want. It's your body. If you want to ruin your body, go ahead. But in my opinion, it's not worth it. You know.
All right, cool. Thanks for answering that for us. So I got let me see. Maybe we can fit in like 2 more questions here. 2 questions. What is your end goal? How are you a part of the human legacy? And how does competitive bodybuilding do this for you? So I guess what that question is asking is like, what do you want from all of this? How do you think that you are kind of giving to the legacy of yourself, other people around you, the people you inspire, and how is competitive bodybuilding doing this for you? And also, what is the most difficult thing you had to give up to get where you are? I guess competition wise, the maxes that you lift, the intensity that you bring to the gym, your aesthetic, all of that.
Well, giving up, you know, strength, of course, you lose strength, but when after competition and I gained on my weight, my bench shot up. I was having a hard time doing 5 reps at 225, which is nothing to me now. But, you know, we're 2 months past August, and I'm benching 315 for reps. So the strength, I knew that would come back. Giving up Chipotle was the hardest thing I could ever do. I went 6 weeks without Chipotle.
Oh my God.
I didn't have a social life. I wasn't able to go out, hang out with friends. I just no, I couldn't do it. So that was also hard. As far as my legacy and what I'm planning on doing, for right now, if I can inspire someone, then that's all worth it to me. There's a lot of people in my gym who don't compete in bodybuilding, has no aspirations of getting into it. They don't want to do weightlifting, but I inspired them to help them lose weight. You know, and that's why I dropped 65 pounds in 16 weeks. So I know what I did to push some of my members. So it's kind of gratifying to me. Mm-hmm. But you know what? I'm having this bodybuilding thing be a hobby for me. It's more of a lifestyle. You know, I enjoy doing this. It's fun for me. It's probably the most expensive thing you could probably do in your lifetime, buying all the food.
Oh my God. All the food.
The most expensive thing you'll ever do. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's worth it to me because I have so much fun doing it. And I wouldn't trade it in for anything.
All right. Awesome. Cool. Well, Dustin, thank you so much for being a part of this. I really appreciate it. I think a lot of people love what you brought to this what you brought to this interview tonight. Your personality. Again, if you guys want to, I'm going to scroll up on this chat. So go ahead and look at the chat right over here. You can follow him at D-Boy Fitness on Instagram. You can also find him on that YouTube link right there. He just kind of started in the YouTube game.
Just got started a week ago. Give me time. I probably put content up there. I just do videos up there right now, just me doing 505 deadlift and 130 dumbbell bench. But I'll put some informative content. I'll put some workout videos, tips, and you know what? I promise if you subscribe, I will not leave it alone. So
awesome. Yeah, he's got two videos up. Right, yeah, he's got 2 videos up there, but they're really awesome videos. There's gonna be a lot of awesome content. If you're in the Northern Virginia area, I definitely recommend going into Gold's Gym Manassas. Again, it's one of the best gyms in Northern Virginia. Could be the best gym in Northern Virginia. 2 stories, yeah, 2 of everything. And if you have any questions, if you have any questions about competitive bodybuilding, bodybuilding as a competition, you can hit him up in the inbox in Instagram. You can hit his YouTube up. Is there like a email address that you would have people email you at if they have questions about competing?
You can email me at dboyfitness at gmail.com. I know a lot of the people on this content are from my gym. Come up, talk to me. I'm the nicest guy you'll ever meet. I promise. I will not just turn you away. If you need help, I'm there for you, man. I say man because I know the guys who got best today. If you're a lady, you need help too, don't be afraid to ask me. I'm here to help. But dboyfitness@gmail.com. That's where you can email any questions.
All right, awesome, cool. Well, thanks again, Dustin. Have a great night, and I guess I'll see you in the gym. Anyone who's watching the stream, the Jtrain Fitness Show is every Monday at 9:30 p.m. on twitch.tv/jtrain1224. Give me a follow. I'll love you forever. Give me a donation if you would like. It's right underneath this stream. Just hit the donate button. Any amount, penny, $1, $100, whatever. I would absolutely adore you if you did it. All right, Dustin. Thanks again, bud, and thank you everyone for.
It's great.
Yeah,
I'll see you at the gym tomorrow.
All right, man. All right, I'll see you tomorrow, man. Thank you.
Right. See you.
Peace. See you later. And I'm kind of off camera right now, guys. But yeah, thanks again for joining me. I will be streaming again Thursday at 10 for Thursday game night, and Friday at 10 for Friday game night. And thank you all who came in. Thanks Mocha Angel for saying it was an awesome show. I'm glad you liked it. And thanks Brian Ripley for all the questions you asked and the content. And Devin, great hearing from you again, bro. Your 2K16 game is so weak, but I'd love to see you in the gym sometime so I could tell you just how weak it is. All right, guys, have a fantastic night. Email your questions to jtrainfitness@gmail.com, and I will see you Thursday, Friday, or for the next Jtrain Fitness Show next week.